So, Monique is dirty. Yo, the more I listen to the interviews around the whole Monique situation, the more disdain I have for her and what she's doing. Um, First of all, it's dirty because she put her Periscope on during their Breakfast Club interview, and she's released it, so everybody's already copied it on YouTube, and it's gonna affect their numbers, right? Like, no one's ever done that before. No one's ever put up their Periscope live on the air, and then you're gonna post it the day before it airs. Off the bat, like, that's kind of foul. And I'm no fan of the Breakfast Club. I think they're idiots on a lot of issues. But I will give them credit that they did not punk out like a lot of the people who I've listened to interview her with. They all fall back and they fell for her little manipulations and stuff like that, and they kept the same energy the whole interview. And I give them credit for that because a lot of people did not do that. Anyways, like all the men, and I said that in my first video when I talked about it, and I said it even when I talked about the Tracy Ellis Ross thing with Anthony Anderson, because I knew that she was gonna get Black Girl Rocked or Black Girl Magic in the conversation, and even though her being the daughter of who she is of and who her father is, that's a whole different conversation. But I don't like this situation because they're used to throw more fuel in the fire. They're used to make more arguments about black men and black women, black men not protecting or not defending black women. That's exactly what Monique did. She went with the whole list of all these brothers, and she was listed Charlemagne and going on different talk shows, and she listed Tony Rock. Tony Rock, think about this though. Tony Rock was asked a question. He did not say any of the things that she said, right, about the situation. So she's conflating arguments. She's making things up that he didn't even say. The question he was asked specifically was about the negotiations and whatnot. And he's like, yo, I've been taught that you don't count other people's money. I live in New York, right to work state. We sign paperwork that says we won't discuss what we make. We do anyways. But I'm just saying, that's how the game works. And that's what he said. But more than all of that, he can't have his own opinion. He can't say, yo, if you negotiate, you negotiate. If it don't work out, you keep it moving. If you don't get what someone else get, oh well. That's his philosophy. She'll flip that, turn that, and saying, well, back in slavery times, we could have been freer, but it was too many people that think like it. Like, she kept doing that shit. And the crazy thing about this is he has two brothers, Chris Rock and his little brother, both with Netflix specials, and he's supposed to co-sign a boycott of his own brothers. So he's supposed to defend black women as a whole over his own actual flesh and blood brothers. Didn't make any sense. More than anybody, you would think that he wouldn't co-sign a boycott publicly when he's trying to get a deal and both his brothers already got them on Netflix. I look at the situation with the white dude. White dude said, hold up, Monique, you're going too far. You came out Will Packer. Will Packer is the reason why I was in who I'm in and the movies I'm in. He hooked me up. He helped my career. He put me in Think Like a Man and all those other movies, right? He even specifically said, the car I'm sitting in right now, I'm driving because of Will Packer. The school the private school I'm picking up my daughter from right now is because of Will Packer. He said all those things, right? Monique responds, because she didn't have an argument with that. And that's what she does when she doesn't have an argument to the tough questions, which I'm glad they asked on the Breakfast Club. She keeps flipping the thing. It goes into slavery. Goes into, did your mama ever be discriminated against? Like, no, stop bringing other folks into it. This is your beef between Netflix. But it seems you're attacking black folks who won't co-sign your boycott more than you are going at Netflix. She keep calling Amy Schumer her sister. But Amy Schumer steals jokes and is trash. So she has no problem just saying, like, yo, they gave this white woman all this money and she's garbage. She steals jokes and her ratings suck. But she don't do that. She keep my sister Amy and comedy, all that other nonsense. But she has no problem calling out the black men who didn't co-sign her argument and putting them against the whole race. So now Tony Rock's going on doing interviews trying to promote his Black Card Revoked show and all that. And he has to do the whole I love black women things and that. And even Angela Yee, when he was on the Breakfast Club talking about it, he goes and says, well, and who's your favorite comedian or some shit like that, or who do you think is, you know, who would you go see or something like that. So basically, if he wouldn't have said, which I would say, I don't have a favorite female comedian. I don't think a lot of women are funny. Like, that's just facts. And that ain't got nothing to do with attacking the entire black race of women. I don't find a lot of women funny. I listened to Yvette Cornell's video because she's doing her whole rant about, because she got to reach out and talk to her. Now she's Team Monique, and all black people have to be too. Black people don't like Monique because they just don't want to be poor, and they don't want to know they're poor. All that dumb shit she was saying. Right? And I'm like, no, I don't relate to Monique. When I was a kid and Queens of Comedies came on, I didn't like that shit. When some more came on, I turned that shit right off. I just don't like that type of comedy from females. Call it sexism, misogyny, whatever you want to call it. I don't like that shit. So I turned them off. Have I heard a few that I thought were funny every now and then? Of course. But like I said in my previous video, I've paid $100 to see Chris. I've paid $100 to see Dave Chappelle. I can't think of a white comedian I would pay $100 to go see. And I can't think of a female comedian period, that I would pay $50 to see. Monique was in my city a month or two ago. Nobody talked about that shit. The chick with the freaked up lace fronts, she was in our city. Different crowd, different attraction. But folks was talking about her and they said she was funny. I don't think she's funny. But folks talked about it. Now you can say, like, she was on social media. She made fun of herself. And she's talking about she tried to get a hair appointment here. Marlon Wayans does the same thing when he comes to our city. I think Corey Holcomb was just here not that long ago either. He even did an interview on the radio. But I'm saying they promoted and they came out and people talked about those other people, but they didn't talk about Monique. But I'm back to the whole Will Packer thing, right? And the white dude, I forget his name. When he hit hard and gave all his facts and how good of a dude Will Packer was, Monique did not challenge him on that. What she does, what she constantly does, is being manipulative. Says, well, your black wife and your black daughter, his daughter is biracial. He says she's not black. His wife is black. But think about this, though. Again, this is a man sticking up for Will Packer because he's saying Will Packer put him on. He also mentioned in the video that every year he goes to Netflix and other places, they turn him down because he has a black audience and they don't know what to do with him. Monique addressed that in his Breakfast Club interview, though, saying that they don't respect his audience and they don't respect him. Well, they don't. So what do? He didn't ask for his fans to boycott Netflix. He kept it moving. But this is a man who's a provider for his family, right? And he's thanking the man who put him in a position to do that. Her argument is, well, what about your black daughter who's biracial and your black wife and their discrimination? But he's doing what he has to do as a man to secure his bag. So he's doing what he's supposed to do for his family. But you're trying to make it an argument about gender and race when he's a white dude doing what he has to do for his black wife and his biracial daughter. Again, she constantly moves the goalposts. She'll make it personal, even in the interview with Charlamagne. And I guess she was offended over the whole Dunkin' Today thing, right? But I'm like, he gives that to anybody. It's not something you take serious. Hot 97 has the you played yourself or whatever. They all got that. And even Rosenberg, for a minute, who I don't like either, he tried to keep it. He tried to do his job, right? That's what they did on the Breakfast Club. That's what a lot of the other interviewers did. But she was able to wiggle her way out of it and manipulate them and make them feel bad because they asked the questions that we are talking about right now on YouTube. The ask was too much. You're asking a bunch of people to boycott Netflix when black folks cutting cords more than anybody, right? Being honest, a lot of folks got fire sticks too, but for the most part, A lot of us got Netflix. A lot of folks don't got cable, and you're asking them to get rid of that. And then when they make that point, you bring up slavery, you bring up Hattie McDaniel, you bring up Rosa Parks. Like, don't bring them in your beef, especially when you know if you would have got what you wanted, this wouldn't have been a topic of conversation. And she admitted that it wouldn't have been. I don't know. Just the more and more I hear her open her mouth, man, I think she's just wicked and manipulated as hell. She thinks she be getting people, I got you questions and whatnot, and when people hit her with them, she makes it personal. She makes personal attacks. And we can't have this thing where when we critique or ask right questions, whether it's the Corinne Gaines or whoever, right, we're judged because we don't have the same knee-jerk reactions as women to situations. I already admitted that. We are not going to do that. Men are not going to do that. Like, concede to that point. We're going to look at the facts and make decisions based off that. We're not going to act like how you act and just have a knee-jerk reaction and be emotional and respond. Like, we're not going to do that. And for some reason, they take that as not protecting or hatred of black women. It's turned into that. I remember the situation from the sister that got her kid taken away. I did the video, never uploaded it. She's from my city. And even Moist Watkins, because he was being moist in the situation, talking about every black man that live in Buffalo, New York, need to be out there protesting, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, slow down. You don't even live here. You don't even know the chick. I'm not going to just go out and knee-jerk because everyone else falls for bandwagons. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to look situations up. And I'll probably upload the video eventually, but that chick hurt herself with the things that she was saying on her own social media page. She had a lot of folks that was willing to back her up just on the principle of the homeschool thing. But she had to be on some third eye, Karen Gaines stuff, and that messed up her whole situation with people who were supporting her. And I watched the people who were like, I was with her, I was for her, until I looked at her Facebook page and she was wilding out. I'll probably upload that video though, eventually. But we can't have the situation where whenever we want to have a dialogue and talk about stuff, if we don't automatically side with you or agree with you, we're somehow attacking you. That shit got to stop. Like, because I can't engage with you. I can't dialogue with you. I'm going to just forget the conversation and keep it moving. Which doesn't help because that's kind of what they want to do. They hit you with that emotional nonsense to stop you from even engaging and calling them out on the BS and the effery. But like Angela Rye, she did that with Tony Rock. And she hit him with the whole name your female comedian or who do you like. Like, that was supposed to prove that he didn't hate black women or whatever, right? Again, like I said, I don't have one. And Charlamagne brought up the point like, yo, there's not a sister on that level as a Chris and Dave. There's not. It's just not there. I don't think there's a white comedian on that level. I don't think so. People might think Jerry Seinfeld's funny. I don't. I definitely don't think Bill Maher's funny. The dude who was jerking off in front of his assistants or whatever, the redhead dude, people like him. I don't think Louis C.K. is that funny either. But those are people on that part of that level. I wouldn't pay to go see none of them. And I wouldn't go pay to see the Monique either. So, I don't know. It's just, the situation is just like, she's doing so much damage to her career. And not only that, but she's messing with other people's bags. She keeps talking about, what about the people that come behind me? Like, no. Again, I don't even think Tiffany Haddish is that funny. She's just silly and goofy and kind of a little ratchet. But I think she will get the bag. She will definitely get more than what you got. So you talking about you're fighting for the babies and the girls coming behind you. But she's got that spotlight right now. And she's got that black girl magic thing around her that you don't have. Partly because you came at Lee Daniels, which I don't think nobody cares about. But Tyler Perry and Oprah, black folks love them. And you can't talk about them. And you did that. And that hurt. And Envy actually interjected that in the conversation too, saying Netflix knows that, not that you were necessarily blowball, but Lee Daniels put out that information that you were lowball. So that hurt you. So now people are making offers to you based on the idea that you're blowball, even though she claims she was not. she still had deals and she still had people offering her stuff. It just weren't what she wanted, or she didn't want to make that deal. Off the bat, in my original video, I never said she should shut up and take the money, because that's like you fight for what you think you're worth. And the flip side is that other people will say, no, I don't think you're worth that, right? That's how negotiations work. You keep it moving, like what Wanda Sykes did. But like Angela Rye, she did that with Tony Rock, and she hit him with the whole name your female comedian, who do you like? Like that was supposed to prove that he didn't hate black women or whatever, right? Again, like I said, I don't have one. And Charlamagne brought up the point, like, yo, there's not a sister on that level as a Chris and Dave. There's not. It's just not there. I don't think there's a white comedian on that level. I don't think so. People might think Jerry Seinfeld's funny. I don't. I definitely don't think Bill Maher's funny. The dude who was jerking off in front of his assistants or whatever, the redhead dude, people like him. I don't think Louis C.K. is that funny either. But those are people on that part of that level. I wouldn't pay to go see none of them. And I wouldn't go pay to see the Monique either. So, I don't know. It's just, the situation is just like, she's doing so much damage to her career. And not only that, but she's messing with other people's bags. She keeps talking about, what about the people that come behind me? Like, no. Again, I don't even think Tiffany Haddish is that funny. She's just silly and goofy and kind of a little ratchet. But I think she will get the bag. She will definitely get more than what you got. So you talking about you're fighting for the babies and the girls coming behind you. But she's got that spotlight right now. And she's got that black girl magic thing around her that you don't have. Partly because you came at Lee Daniels, which I don't think nobody cares about. But Tyler Perry and Oprah, black folks love them. And you can't talk about them. And you did that. And that hurt. And Envy actually interjected that in the conversation too, saying Netflix knows that, not that you were necessarily blowball, but Lee Daniels put out that information that you were lowball. So that hurt you. So now people are making offers to you based on the idea that you're blowball, even though she claimed she was not. She still had deals and she still had people offering her stuff. It just weren't what she wanted, or she didn't want to make that deal. Off the bat, in my original video, I never said she should shut up and take the money, because that's like you fight for what you think you're worth. And the flip side is that other people will say, no, I don't think you're worth that, right? That's how negotiations work. You keep it moving, like what Wanda Sykes did. I don't think this would be a big deal if she just didn't ask black folks to boycott. And then if she would let the black people who said they don't want to live. Why you got to try to use the shaming language and try to make people feel bad because they ain't not siding with you? Let them eat cake. And because the white dude who's a Republican agreed with her, she's using those people as, well, this white Republican Trump supporter agreed with me, so you have to agree with me too. No, I have my own opinion. I think you negotiated and you lost. They didn't see value in your work, and you should go somewhere else. But that's not good enough for her. Her, again, she's tag teaming fucking every other black historic woman who did anything. And the one show I listened to, the dude is asking the right questions and all that, but then his own co-host, well, black men today aren't like they were back in the day, and these dudes are pussies and they're soft, and like, no, you are. Your generation is, because you don't question things, because you don't call them out and you don't hold them accountable. That's what's wrong with your generation. She spent 10 minutes, because I think the Mexican chick, like, she said Monique wasn't looking at her when she walked in the interview, so she didn't speak to her. And Monique stops the interview to say, I can't look at you. Your energy just not right. I have to get you to get your energy right before I can talk to you. All this silly stuff. Like, just do your interview. You're not special. Nobody cares. And she's setting people's standards based on what other folks did. So because the Mexicans shut down their show for you, because the white dude shut down their show for you, everybody's got to do that too? You're going on there to tell your story. Their job is to ask tough questions. Their job is to push back. And their job is to do radio. Right? Like, that's their job. And so far, all evidence on her, I know she was on The View. I know Joy kind of pushed back a little bit and said that the whole, because she kept saying the Amy Schumer thing was about a resume, and Joy was like, it's not about, that's not a resume, that's ass in the seats. They use the fact that Amy Schumer could get asses in the seats as a way for a metric. That's not her resume. That's how many people she actually brought out to come to her shows. And I guess some people say Whoopi said something to her too, because Whoopi's on that fence. She tap dances back and forth, and she's a defender of Hollywood or whatever, which she's on that side. But she also admits that what she hasn't gotten, whatever, right? I didn't really finish watching what Whoopi said, though, so I don't know if she pushed back or gave her some energy. But out of all the images I heard, The Breakfast Club is the best one with Monique so far. And that's weird, because I've got several videos criticizing The Breakfast Club for how shitty they are at interviews and how they ask stupid questions and how biased they are. But on this interview, I give it up to them. Even Angela Yee said something that was facts. Monique was like, don't say what you want to say unless you say their name. And she said the name, and it was a tweet. And you can go look it up. What Roland Martin, again, too, like, I'm not a fan of Roland Martin, but he came at her and pointed out that at the Essence Ebony shoot, people were saying that she was difficult and hard to work with. And then Angela Yee brought that up again, saying that someone tweeted that out, that it was a horrible working with Monique and she never want to do it again. So it's evidence. I mean, I got family members who, my great aunt works at a company, she's been there for over 20-something years, had discrimination, sued her company, still there. All her kids are rebels and they don't take nothing. Her daughter was just in mediation because she's a scientist. Her company wanted to, one of her superiors wanted her to approve some chemicals, some medicine that shouldn't have been approved, and she's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And they tried to get rid of her for it. She just won that. Her brother, going through the same situation right now, he's a knucklehead, another big mouth who was trying to be a rebel, but he was just doing all types of stuff, like helping people who were getting fired, and he would go to the union and help them out and get them back on track. He was going to other unions and doing a lot of other stuff, but he's going to situations. So it's like, I see firsthand of people being discriminated against or having court battles, and they fighting them, they doing it. And what they're not doing it is tagging in the whole black community, telling them to fight on their behalf. They're getting their lawyers, they're getting their union reps, and they're doing what they got to do. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Obviously, nobody's disputing that there's discrimination, because I was going back and forth with a sister on Thought Crime's channel before all the other information came out, and we can see to the point, absolutely, that deal is trash, right? $500,000, she can't do that comedy for 2 years or whatever like that. She claims that she can make $2 million on a roll within the period of that comedy special. So obviously that's not worth it if that's the case. That's why I never said she should shut up and take the money. Ironically enough, today, and I guarantee you this had something to do with Roland Martin, from News One, they put out the article saying that Monique owes the IRS $500,600. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's interesting right there. Right? So she's allegedly in financial troubles and owes Uncle Sam $500,000. Netflix offered her $500,000. Right? Nevertheless, the deal was ass. She shouldn't have took that. Especially if she thinks she can make $2 million in a year doing it herself. Obviously you don't take that deal. But obviously you don't go tagging the whole black community, telling them to boycott on your behalf. And that's what people like who are taking her side, they're ignoring that part of it, right? They're ignoring that. And again, Yvette Cornell's video was just stupid. Like, it's just weird. Like, if you don't agree with black folks, we have to attack you personally and tell you don't want to be black anymore, or you trying to run from black. It's like, all that shit is dumb. That doesn't help. Before I get out of here, because then Yvette Cornell video talking about Dave Chappelle, like, and it's funny too, because not only did this spark a beef between black men and black women, but now you got other folks going around making this argument that Dave Chappelle's not funny and all this other stuff, like he's overrated. So it's like, damn, she sparked all this other drama that nobody believes. I said myself in my video the first time, when black people don't create you and build you up, there is this distrust of you, or this thing, because they can't hold you accountable because you didn't come up off of them. Dave Chappelle came up through the same comedy clubs in DC that everybody else did, Def Comedy and all that, to get on, but he was embraced by a mainstream audience, unlike a lot of other comedians, right? That's just fact. Now, one thing that Yvette said, now, Boyce, she said he was wrong, but Boyce said that Yvette's lover was white. But Yvette said that Dave Chappelle joke about his white friend wasn't funny. And then she goes and says, Dave Chappelle's not one of us, or some shit like that, because of that. Because he grew up in a middle-class black neighborhood, but he was poor compared to the white folks. That was the funniest joke that Dave Chappelle said. I didn't laugh through the whole thing. There was only 5, 6, 7 times, but it was good. But that was the biggest joke that stood out, because I could relate to that. Because I was in that same situation. I remember verbatim the first time going to a white friend's house. I go to this motherfucking house. We in his basement. It's furnished. Shit don't flood. It's got carpet in it. Right? This man got every game that was out in like 92 or whatever. Like Nintendo, Genesis, all that. I'm thinking like, damn, I'm about to play all this shit. This motherfucker want to go outside and play. Right? And then he made the joke about eating dinner at the white people's house. I remember that same situation too, because it happened at the same house. We about to eat. I'm seeing beets and shit on my plate. Like, what the hell is this? I don't know what this is. I don't want that. So, that joke was funny to me. I can relate to it. But Yvette is trying to tell us, the people who are listening, we can't relate to that. We don't know. And I'm like, you live in the South for one. But it's ironic you're saying that you can't relate. You don't have any white friends. Boyce alleged that your lover was white. Your ex-co-host, the African, I wonder why they broke up, his wife is white. But you saying that black folks don't have no black friends and they can't relate to Dave Chappelle's jokes. That's bullshit. Now, I can acknowledge that you're from the South and that relationship is different. But those of us up north, Jersey, Philly, New York, our experience is not like yours in Georgia. People in California, same difference. Now, the rest of the country, the rest of the states, I can understand black people coming from the South saying they don't have that type of interaction. But you can't speak for those of us who live in the North at all, or people who live on the West Coast. I definitely relate to Dave Chappelle's jokes and that whole segment. I do not relate to Monique. It ain't got nothing to do with blackness or running away or don't want to acknowledge where we stand economically. All that dumb shit that Yvette was saying in her video. And then after black people voice their grievances and say, no, we good, you got to attack black people now because they don't co-sign your bullshit. That also has to stop too. Because you're not going to get nowhere with that. Anyways, I had to go watch real quick and see what happened on The View because someone was saying that Whoopi set her straight or something like that. Nothing like that really happened. The only thing Whoopi said was, if you would have called me, I would have let you know that you were supposed to promote Precious, which is what started all this debacle in the first place. Which, again, I think that's what it boils down to. I just think that Monique is Azealia Banks. She is Tyrese. Like, even though she makes valid points and talking about discrimination, all that stuff, all that's true, but she can't remove the fact that she has brought some of this stuff upon herself, and she's not the best person to be bringing this fight. It's just that simple. And seeing her attack black men because they voiced their opinion on a situation and attack radio hosts who asked the tough and the hard questions without backing down. I mean, it wasn't, okay, most of them did back down. Like, again, even Hot 97, they were playing footsie, right? And she was upset that, I mean, like, they kind of play with the fact that, like, Charlamagne gave her donkey today. And they kind of try to, like, eat off of that. They do that often. I know they do that. When Amara La Negra went on Breakfast Club, they took shots at him for that whole thing. And I'll talk about that probably sometime, too. I don't think the outrage and the response that happened from that video was that deep. It shouldn't happen. But they play off that. But, again, Rosenberg, not playing white devil's advocate, which he is, but he was saying from the fans' perspective of why they can't relate and why they think the $500,000 is a lot of money to be turning down, how the average person making $15 an hour can't comprehend that. Now, again, I never said take the deal. The deal is ass. Like, without a question, we know what's in it now. The deal's ass. Like, she can't do comedy. She claims she can make the $2 million a year on a roll herself. That's a no-brainer. Of course, you don't take that. But then, or you do that to boost your brand back up, to get your money up, and you take that sacrifice. But clearly, she can't. She's not about to do that. And I don't know if I said this already because I'm tired and I'm probably repeating myself. But like, I know News One posted that, and I know it had to be with Roland Martin. They posted on the article on the website that she's like, she owes the IRS 500,000, 600, or 500 grand or something like that with some change on it. And I'm like, wait a minute. So she got off of 500 grand from Netflix, and now it's reports that she owes Uncle Sam 500,000 and some change. Like, come on, right? Again, I'm not saying she should have took it, but them numbers are real close right there. And I'm not. She probably has been affected by this financially, and it's hurting her, and it's probably forcing her to do what she's doing because this is all she got left. Maybe this is her last hurrah, it seems. But again, I don't like this beef between her and a potential employee. It's just amazing how stuff like that causes divides the community and issues, right? Again, like the folks who want to defend her want to ignore the ask. They want to tell us, you watched this and you thought this was funny, you watched the Parkers. No, I didn't. Like, there's certain sitcoms and shows that I watch, like, I've seen every episode, but I didn't watch the Parkers like that. It wasn't one of those shows. It's not up there with the Cosbys and Family Matters, which we did watch because that was, the marketing was great. TGI Friday. Every Friday we all watched that. So it's a couple of these black shows, apart from watching them on reruns as adults, we ain't watched every episode and all that stuff. I did not watch the Parkers. I did not like Queens of Comedy. So I don't understand when you conflating her other awards and accolades from the same damn movie, right? She's the most decorated from one movie, which is most where her awards came from. And what does that have to do with comedy? Charlamagne is right. She can't pull in those numbers. And I hate that she twisted him saying there are no black female comics on that level right now who can pull in or on our par with a Dave Chappelle. Just like there are no female NBA players, because we saw that last week when the chick talking about we shouldn't have to go to Europe to play, we should get with the NBA players. No, you fucking shouldn't. Right? If I want to see a bunch of girls shoot all day, I'll go watch Steph Curry play. Nah, for real though, you shouldn't make what NBA players make. You don't bring, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they conflate things that don't make sense, right? Monique does not have the seats and chairs that Dave and Chris can get, or Amy Schumer. And we all admit Amy Schumer's ass. And what bothers me is that Monique wouldn't use those words. She could come at all the black men who stated their opinion, saying they're sellouts or they don't love their mamas and this all other stuff, but she can't be honest and say Amy Schumer is ash. She still jokes. She's not funny. Her Netflix special bombed. Say that. Stop calling her my sister, all that other weird shit y'all be doing. Stop doing all that. Be honest. But you can roast us for not agreeing with you, but you can't be honest about the white woman who got paid more than you, who you possibly are better than her. Despite you being better than her, you still not selling out Madison Square Garden like her. You still not getting the numbers she's getting. And then she keeps bringing up this Christmas, which I didn't go see in theater, honestly. And I don't even remember it when I did watch it. But I know she wasn't the only star in there. I know Gabrielle Union was in there. I know Danny Glover, who's a way bigger star than she is in there. So she's using that movie as her resume or her argument how the movie did well. But you wasn't the only one in it. Who else was in Snatch besides her? It was one other star that was washed. 2 people versus like 10 B+ actors inside of her movie. And she's acting like we watched it because just of her. It was mad black stars in that movie, and that's why the movie was successful. Not just because of Monique. But anyways, that's my video. I just wanted to recap on that. I don't like these topics, how they get flipped in the media, and it goes to different topics because right now, again, you see people talking about the whole Corinne gang situation. They're using that as excuse, saying, "Oh, she got paid money and blah blah blah. Black men didn't hop on a knee-jerk reaction the way that we did." Again, I already conceded to that point. We are not going to do that. We are not going to just hop on and see something happen and say, "Aha!" without looking at the facts or formulating our own opinions. And if new information comes, we're wrong. We didn't. We had the dude say out of his mouth that Monique was offered $3 million. That information was false. Still don't change my opinion. Opinion's still the same. But stop. She's like using the rift between black men and black women and making it worse. Like, no, don't do that. Say that those individual men don't side with you or don't agree with you, and deal with that. Let them have their opinion that's different from yours. Don't go bring us back 2,000 years to Rosa Parks, or to I forgot her name. But don't go back there, and don't go back to slavery and saying, well, y'all think that way, that's why y'all was in slavery so long. Like, that's not cool.